Hello again, all you loners out there. So this is episode 303. All right, thank you all for tuning in again to another episode here. We appreciate all of you guys coming back and all you faithful loners out there. It means the world to us. If you subscribe here, like, comment, and just jump over to that vlog channel. It's always in the description. We appreciate it. Okay, so today we're gonna do a video called "Trump's Science Cuts Might Have an Unexpected Benefit." This is by we did a video by this woman before, Sabine. Yeah, Sabine. I forget what it was exactly. But I think she's going to talk about how scientists are leaving the U.S. because of the Trump administration. So let's see.
Scientists are fleeing the United States because the Trump administration is too anti-science. I've seen more than just a few headlines about this in the past week, speaking of a brain drain. Today I have a summary of what happened and what it might mean for the future of science in the United States and elsewhere. On April 11th, budget documents leaked from the White House revealed President Trump's plan for sweeping cuts to science agencies. Those leaks were confirmed on May 2nd, with the budget request coming from the White House. The budget request calls for a 37% cut at the National Institutes of Health. The National Science Foundation would be cut by more than 50%. NOAA, which researches and collects data on the ocean's weather and climate, would be slashed by 24%. NASA's science programs face a cut of more than 50% that it hit
That's crazy
especially
because I know a lot of people who work in this specific field like NASA and space and other things. They already don't get paid a lot because I think they do that job specifically more because they're very interested in that field. Do you know what I mean? Like astronauts, I remember when I found out how much they get paid, I'm like, wow. I'm like, they really do that for the love of it.
Yeah. Hard in astrophysics, where it'd likely mean the cancellation of the Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope, which is under construction, on budget, and scheduled for launch in late 2026. In case the problem was it being named after a woman, maybe we can just rename it to Fancy Grace Roman Telescope. The Trump administration has reportedly already cancelled over $400 million in federal research to fight cancer and Parkinson's.
They also cut a ton from Medicaid, I believe, yesterday.
That's crazy, though. How are these things not, like, necessary?
I just want to know where the money's going.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel it's necessary to do that, where are you reallocating it?
There's no way it's not going to help tax cuts for the billionaires and the extremely wealthy.
Yep.
I don't know.
Disease. And the NSF has stopped giving out new grants already. The planned budget cuts would have to be approved by Congress, but the message is pretty clear.
Yeah.
These are not good times to be a scientist in the United States. The director of the National Science Foundation resigned, and so did the director of the National Institutes of Health. The latter also said that he and other scientists were not allowed to speak in any kind of scientific meeting or public setting.
It just became untenable. I was, as every other scientist in that circumstance, not allowed to speak in any kind of scientific meeting or public setting.
Some scientists have already drawn consequences and are leaving, like neuroscientist Danielle Beckman and the philosophy professor Jason Stanley. David Baker, professor for biochemistry at the University of Washington, who won a Nobel Prize last year, said in an interview with Chemistry World that 15 of his graduate students are looking for jobs outside of the USA, and several have already accepted jobs. According to the results of a Nature poll among scientists in the United States, 3/4 of the survey respondents are considering leaving the United States. This news was widely reported as saying that 3/4 of scientists want to leave the US. How seriously are we to take this? Are scientists really about to leave en masse? Or is this like all the Americans that say they'll move to Canada on each election, but that never seems to happen. 3/4 seems a lot, but one has to take the Nature poll with a few grains of salt. For one thing, those were the replies by people who felt it worthwhile to reply to such a survey.
Yeah.
So it's a biased sample. More importantly, we don't have a control group, because researchers, especially in the early stages of their career, are highly mobile and consider moving elsewhere all the time, Trump or not. So saying that they are
That's what I was
considered...
going to say, that maybe they should have specified because of these cuts would make you consider leaving versus just in general.
Yeah.
leaving the country, even if they say it's in response to what the Trump administration has done, doesn't really mean much. That said, if Trump pulls through with his budget cuts, and I think that will most likely be the case, the job market for research positions in the United States is about to crash. People will leave simply because there are no jobs.
Yeah.
Is this a good thing? Or
What's crazy is, I don't know. I've seen so many videos being posted on YouTube recently about like how it feels impossible to get a job here now in the US because no one's hiring, given the current economic situation. Even like retail jobs and like basic jobs, it's pretty insane. And I think it's an indicator that we're going somewhere not that great with the economy, when it's going to be really only people that have
a recession.
Yeah.
I feel like we're already knee deep.
Yeah, I just don't see good times coming ahead for like the majority of Americans. But yeah.
bad thing. The reactions from scientists that I've seen all think that this is a bad thing. I think it isn't as clear cut. The just departed NIH director asserted the NIH has a good return on investment.
Every dollar that NIH gave out in 2024 to a grant is estimated to have returned to $2.46 just in a year.
It's almost like that's a net positive, right?
Yeah, but it's not enough. It's not enough. But the problem with these types of fields like health and science and things that are for the betterment of the human population, they shouldn't be looked at as like what return on investment can we get, like in dollars, like how quick can we get a return. It should be like what's going to be the return in 30 years, 40 years.
Unfortunately, that's not how billionaires think. They
Yeah,
think
I know.
everything's a business to them. Point
And
blank,
money.
Period.
Yeah, money.
And okay, that return, I'm assuming, I don't know the logistics of this, but I'm assuming that return gets reallocated,
Yeah.
into the same field. And I think because science just does not benefit him,
Yeah.
that's kind of just how he sees it. He makes moves based off what benefits him, and
Yeah.
if it can benefit anybody else, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty darn good return on investment.
The number comes from the 2023 fiscal report of the NIH, and it's not about returns on investment. It means that for every dollar that the NIH spends on, say, salary or lab equipment, other contributors, like, say, universities or private investors, spend $2.46. It tells you nothing about whether the research actually benefited the public besides making money go around.
Which is unfortunately what, like we just said, what would speak to someone like Trump.
Yeah.
So you would think he would keep it around, not for the greater good of science, but just for the financial benefit.
The reality is that most of tax-paid research almost certainly has a bad return on investment. This is because the entire science funding scheme has a tendency to overinvest into popular areas, whether or not there is something interesting to research there. That the Trump administration is no longer willing to play this game is a very interesting development, because a very foreseeable consequence is that the number of research publications with American affiliations will dramatically drop. I hope that this will induce a long necessary shift to better measures of research impact. That said, these cuts seem not very well thought through. They seem to be cutting everything that someone in the administration doesn't like, and that
I
might
agree.
do more harm than good. But there's one thing to be said in Trump's favor. He gives us something to talk about.
Well, if China and Russia invest more into,
Science.
then maybe that'll get him to invest in it.
I don't know. I've been seeing. I forget what specifically. I know like South Korea is one that has. They actually have started to find cures for cancer to eliminate
I
cancer
did see that
cells.
too.
China made a very big advancement in health. I can't remember specifically what, but I remember when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's a huge advancement. So these other countries are making huge advancements way faster than us, especially right now, because I think we're going to lose a lot. We're going to lose any momentum of progress because we're in such a weird topsy-turvy
Weird is
time.
not the proper
You know what I mean?
word that I would use.
We're in a bad time for progress because we're just dealing with like, what are we cutting? What are we doing? It's so like,
It feels like
you don't know what's going to
we've
happen.
paused
Yeah,
anything, and we're stuck in time,
exactly.
if not going backwards.
Yep. And it's hard for any people that were
And it's
trying to make
exhausting.
progress before because they're going to get their funding cut.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is maybe a bad example. I feel like the FBI is raiding our home and for no reason, and we have to sit here and think about how long it's going to take us to clean up everything when they finally leave.
Yeah, that's not a bad analogy. That's not bad.
But not just like personally. I don't know why that came up in my brain, but anyway.
That makes sense. Well, all we can do right now is kind of see what unfolds. I didn't know to the details that she mentioned of what they were cutting and how much they were cutting or planning to
You
cut.
can't keep up with everything. It's impossible.
Yeah, like those are huge cuts to the NIH and the science sector. Like those are huge cuts,
Right.
and they will have a big effect.
Maybe specify exactly what research is not necessary, or maybe what is prioritized over others, instead of just kind of like slashing away at stuff that could be useful in the long run. But then again, that would require him to think more than one step ahead, which is not likely.
All right. Well, again, please leave your opinions below and any updates or whatever you think about this situation. We appreciate all of you guys watching and taking the time to subscribe and like, and also because we know you do, you jump over to our vlog channel and you subscribe there and comment on our stuff.
Yes. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.
Bye.